Throughout NBA history, many legendary backcourts have left a memorable mark on the game. Icons like Kobe Bryant and Derek Fisher,
Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili,
Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars are just a few of those duos whose extraordinary talents have graced the hardwood. Anyone who knows anything about basketball will have heard of these legends, whose legacies are etched into the history of the sport, echoing through time. At the pinnacle of this celebrated list, however, at the summit of NBA backcourts, stand Steph Curry and Klay Thompson of the Golden State Warriors, famously known as the Splash Brothers. Their journey to greatness is nothing short of miraculous. Underrated and overlooked, they defied expectations through sheer will and determination, becoming the personification of excellence. Their achievements will never be forgotten, and those fortunate enough to have witnessed their greatness will pass down their stories from generation to generation. This is their story.
He has Curry, and it goes to Thompson.
Steph Curry for two. That won't go. Rebound right back out. Thompson, a good look. Nails the three.
Great. Oh, come on, man. Are you kidding me? Seriously, man. Come on, man.
There's a quote that says, "The night is darkest just before the dawn." And when it comes to the story of the Splash Brothers and the rise of the Golden State Warriors, the modern NBA's greatest dynasty, this couldn't be closer to the truth. To fully appreciate and grasp this story, however, let's take a step back in time.
What a story this has been. Underdogs all the way. The Warriors have done it. The Golden State Warriors have just won the NBA championship.
1975 stands out as one of the most remarkable years in Warriors history. Whenever a basketball conversation turns to the greatest NBA Finals upsets, this year consistently emerges. In a stunning display of determination and skill, Rick Barry and his underdog Warriors team reached the 1975 NBA Finals and then swept the Washington Bullets, a powerhouse roster brimming with established stars and led by two future Hall of Famers. Against all odds and contrary to expert predictions that the Bullets would easily run through the Warriors, Barry and his team made history. Sadly, that would stand as the Warriors' last golden year for decades, as the team gradually descended into the shadows. Over the years, there were fleeting moments of brilliance, like Sleepy Floyd's 51-point explosion against the 1987 Lakers, arguably the finest Showtime Lakers squad ever assembled, or the early 90s run TMC era, proclaimed by some as the birth of small ball. However, for the most part, the Warriors remained on the outskirts of championship contention. The We Believe Warriors ignited hope across San Francisco when they became the first 8th-seeded team to topple a number 1 seed since the first round expanded to a best-of-7 series. And what an electrifying show that was.
Davis to go one-on-one, get into the lane.
Here's Davis.
Unfortunately, the We Believe Warriors era was short-lived, a victim of what many fans lament as the winter of Cohen and the rule of Robert Rowell. The franchise spiraled into despair as they traded away fan favorite Jason Richardson and allowed Baron Davis to simply walk away, casting a shadow over the organization. This turn of events dropped the Warriors from a bright spot on the NBA landscape into the depths of basketball purgatory. It was a bleak period for Warriors fans who endured a disheartening 29-win season in 2009. However, as I mentioned earlier, echoing the adage, "The night is the darkest just before the dawn," after the bitter taste of that 29-win season in 2009, a remarkable transformation was on the horizon.
With the 7th pick in the 2009 NBA Draft, the Golden State Warriors select Stephen Curry from Davidson College.
Despite his reluctance to be drafted by the Warriors, refusing to participate in any workouts or visits, Golden State took a big gamble during the 2009 NBA Draft at Madison Square Garden when they selected the 6'3" guard from Davidson, a decision that would become the most transformative in the franchise history.
This is maybe the premier shooter I've ever seen in my life.
Right from the get-go in his rookie year, you could tell Steph was going to be special.
High Morrow again.
Curry three. Oh, no! Curry was a career high 34 and 7 threes. 7 of 10.
The second most significant moment in Warriors franchise history unfolded just 2 years later, a mere 30-minute drive from Madison Square Garden at the Prudential Center in New Jersey. Here's what happened.
With the 11th pick in the 2011 NBA Draft, the Golden State Warriors select Klay Thompson from Washington State University.
This moment marked the dawn of something extraordinary, something that would not only revolutionize the Warriors franchise, but the entire landscape of basketball.
Klay Thompson, turn around, smooth.
At the time, no one could have predicted the magnitude of what was unfolding, not even Steph and Klay themselves. After all, how could they have foreseen it? They barely even spoke to each other back then.
I don't think me and Steph said a word to each other the first year, to be honest.
Despite their initial silence, though, Steph and Klay shared several traits. In their early years, they were both reserved, preferring to let their performance on the court speak volumes. They were never truly alone either. Steph found companionship in family life, marrying in 2011 and surrounding himself with loved ones. Klay, on the other hand, welcomed a loyal English bulldog named Rocco into his life the same year, always ensuring his best friend was by his side.
Yep. I know we don't get to hang out much outside of the practice and games, but you got your dog, I got my family and all that stuff. But
another passion they shared was an insatiable love for shooting the ball. If there was ever one attribute that set these two apart and made them the envy of the league, it was their unparalleled ability to sink baskets from long range. While everyone acknowledges Steph as perhaps the greatest shooter the NBA has ever witnessed, the debate among teammates was a little more nuanced.
So people was like, who's a better shooter, Steph or Klay? And I was like, it depends on if Klay wants to go play with his dog or not.
This pairing of Steph and Klay seemed destined by the basketball gods themselves, as if celestial forces intervened to ensure it happened. I mean, just consider the events that played out. Despite the Warriors drafting the cornerstone of their future, the Magic nearly vanished before it had a chance to flourish. In 2011, for example, shortly after Klay joined the team, Bob Myers, the esteemed former GM of the Warriors, nearly traded both him and Steph to New Orleans for Chris Paul. Fortunately for Golden State, Paul stated he wouldn't re-sign long-term, which ultimately nixed the deal. Then in 2012, Steph Curry came close to being traded to Milwaukee. Fortunately, concerns from Milwaukee's medical team about his ankle durability halted the trade, allowing him to remain where he was. Not long after that, a potential trade threatened to send Klay to Minnesota in exchange for Kevin Love. This time, it was the legendary late-great Jerry West, the Logo, who saved the day by threatening to leave the Warriors if they proceeded with the trade. So, thanks to Chris Paul's reluctance to commit to Golden State, Milwaukee's doctor's skepticism over Steph's ankle, and Jerry West's insightful judgment, this remarkable duo was allowed to grow and blossom into something extraordinary.
Easy 2-for-1 opportunity. And there's the freebie. And Steph drops in a three.
This game you're watching happened on December 21st of 2012, and if you're wondering why I'm showing this specific game, it's not just the fact that Curry and Klay combined for 7 out of 11 shots from 3 in just 2 quarters of play, but the fact that this tweet came out at halftime. If you're wondering about the significance of this message, let me enlighten you. This very tweet marked the official birth of the Splash Brothers. From that moment forward, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson were poised to elevate the Warriors to unprecedented heights. However, before they could reach their apex, they faced a legion of skeptics and doubters.
Ernest, I have said the exact same thing for 16 years here. I don't like jump shooting teams. I don't think you can win the championship beating good teams shoot jumpers.
Steph and Klay were undeterred by the noise, though. Instead, it fueled them to deliver some of the most incredible performances in NBA history. Consider this. The NBA record for the most three-pointers in a game stood at 12, a feat achieved by Kobe Bryant in 2003 and later equaled by Donyell Marshall in 2005. These records held firmly over a decade until Steph shattered them in 2016 with 13 three-pointers.
He knows where he is.
As Curry hit another three for the record.
There it is.
Then, just when the basketball world thought this record would stand for years, Klay Thompson pushed the boundary even further by sinking 14 three-pointers in 2018.
History. You got it! 14 threes in a game has never been done until tonight.
Among their most mesmerizing performances, the pinnacle of their individual regular season achievements came when they combined for 78 points against Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and the OKC Thunder. This overtime spectacle was highlighted by Steph's jaw-dropping shot from near the parking lot, nailed with just fractions of a second left on the clock.
Timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Their repertoire of historic performances doesn't end there. Klay Thompson's breathtaking 37 points in one quarter, Steph Curry's majestic 54-point masterpiece at the Garden, Klay's explosive 60 points in three quarters against Indiana, and Steph's clutch 50-point performance in a Game 7 victory over Sacramento are all testament to their dominance. Additionally, Klay's pivotal Game 6 against OKC and Steph's commanding Game 4 against Boston further showcase their extraordinary talents and pivotal roles in critical matchups. The catalog of individual achievements by these two stars is so extensive that it could easily fill an entire video, and it's evident that their admiration for each other matches the magnitude of their accomplishments.
What kind of teammate is Klay Thompson?
He's one of a kind. I know that term gets thrown around a lot, but his humility, the way he enjoys life, selflessness.
Turning to Klay, here are his thoughts on Steph.
Well, I've admired Steph long before he was a Warrior. When he was at Davidson, I was a fan. I went and saw him play at the Honda Center in Anaheim against UCLA. And I was amazed by his skill and his ability. And then to be drafted with the Warriors and be his two guard for as long as I have been, it's been nothing short of amazing.
The best regular season in NBA history, foiling LeBron's quest to surpass Michael Jordan in championships, and defeating LeBron so badly that it led to his departure from Cleveland, are just a few of the remarkable mountaintops accomplished by the Splash Brothers. Like I said earlier, no single video could fully encompass all that they have achieved together. The playing style of Steph and Klay set a new standard in the league, becoming the blueprint many teams attempted to replicate over the years. However, they quickly discovered that while imitation is possible, duplicating the unique magic of the Splash Brothers is entirely another matter.
The NBA feels like it's a copycat league nowadays. You know, when the Warriors were on their run, you saw teams across the league trying to mimic that model, didn't necessarily have the personnel to fit that.
Regrettably, every story has its conclusion, and for the Splash Brothers, the signs of an impending end emerged during Game 6 of the 2019 NBA Finals when Klay suffered an ACL tear, a moment that foreshadowed the challenges ahead.
Thompson running the floor and a foul. And Thompson grabs his left knee.
Steph Curry was absolutely disgusted with himself for making that pass and wished painstakingly that he could redo that play.
Steph Curry was really saddened, and it had nothing to do with losing.
Afterwards, Klay, embodying the true spirit of a Warrior, returned to the court with a torn ACL to sink two crucial free throws, giving the Warriors a glimmer of hope to extend the series to a Game 7. However, fate had other plans, and it simply wasn't meant to be for them that year. After that finals loss came 2020, an anomalous year for the Warriors.
Then he closed out on a shooting hand style.
Steph Curry with a lot of contact.
After dominating the NBA landscape for half a decade with the Splash Brothers at the helm, injuries sidelined the two legends, and the organization then found themselves at the league's bottom, surrounded by a new assembly of players. I prefer to think of it as a sabbatical, a brief pause in their storied journey. 2021 was anticipated to be the triumphant return of the dynamic duo, but just as Klay recovered from his ACL injury, he suffered a ruptured Achilles, a devastating setback. For Steph, this was a crushing blow.
To get that call was a gut punch for sure. A lot of tears, a lot of, you don't really know what to say because a guy like that having to go through, 2 pretty serious rehabs now.
For Klay, however, the situation was even more heartbreaking. For someone who loves the game deeper than any of us can imagine, being forced to observe from the sidelines proved more agonizing than the injuries themselves. Despite not being able to play, though, Klay seized every opportunity to support his fellow Splash brother and the team.
Steph, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you in a while.
What's up, my guy?
Okay.
2022, however, was set to be a turning point. Klay approached his rehabilitation with meticulous care, even reaching out to Kevin Durant for advice after witnessing the successful comeback his former teammate made from a similar Achilles injury. And it all paid off. On January 9th, 2022, after 942 days, Klay and Steph reunited on the court, once again sharing the hardwood in a moment that was both celebratory and deeply symbolic.
He's back! And now, in his 11th NBA season out of Washington State University, number 11, Klay Thompson!
One of Klay's initial plays, however, not only ignited excitement among Warriors fans globally, but also sent pulses racing.
Thompson, just the 2 points. This team dribbling. Oh! Exploding to the rim! Klay Thompson!
The very thought of Klay dunking again was enough to give everyone a distinct sense of anxiety. Nobody wanted to see him take that risk anymore. Steph, however, wasn't bothered. In fact, he was the most animated person in the entire arena, leaping around like a little kid would on Christmas morning. And for him, it truly was like Christmas. I mean, he received a magical gift that money could never buy, the return of his Splash brother. Regrettably, for Warriors fans, this was not the Klay Thompson of years past. After suffering 2 severe leg injuries and crossing into his 30s, a crossroad that often marks a decline for basketball players, it was evident that Klay was no longer the player he once was. While his sharpshooting skills remained intact, his ability in slicing through defenses off the dribble and his all-NBA defense had diminished. Yet, number 11 remained undeterred, pouring every ounce of effort into his game and then some. Take, for instance, the 2022 NBA Finals. After Steph's monumental performance in Game 4, the Chef found himself too drained to replicate that intensity for Game 5. Fortunately, he didn't need to. Klay Thompson, often underappreciated in recent years for his contributions, stepped up significantly in that decisive Game 5, a game where the winner often goes on winning the series over 80% of the time. Klay came through in the clutch in that game, sinking 5 of 11 from beyond the arc, playing a pivotal role in securing the W that set them on the path to championship number 4. The Splash Brothers eventually went on to reclaim their throne atop the NBA world, and although Klay Thompson's abilities had waned from his earlier years, he still played a critical role. This moment in time not only elevated them back to the summit of the basketball world, but also cemented their status as the greatest backcourt in NBA history.
You about to get a bag. We about to get a bag. We about to get a bag.
Following that championship victory, hefty contracts were in order for the organization, with both fellow teammates Poole and Wiggins securing extensions worth $100 million each. Given their performances during the playoff run, marked by significant game-changing moments from each, it was a reward well-deserved. Those contracts, however, did not sit well with Thompson, particularly when it came time for his own contract negotiations. In the following years, tensions brewed around Klay. Although the Warriors organization attempted to keep these issues discreet, signs of his frustration were evident on the court. Poor shot selection and a visibly sour demeanor suggested that the team's inability to meet his demands was taking a toll. Klay often tried to shoot his way out of the situation, but unlike in the past, this strategy only seemed to deepen his struggles. In what turned out to be his final appearance in a Warriors uniform during a critical elimination game, Thompson went 0 for 10 from the field. This performance made him a target of memes and jokes far and wide. Yet, truthfully, that match was an off day for the entire Warriors team while the Kings played their best game. Even if Klay had managed an elite shooting performance, hitting 70 or 80% of his shots, the outcome would have likely been the same. The Warriors were destined to lose that game. It simply wasn't written in their story to win in 2024. In the following offseason, the pettiness surrounding the contracts became unbearable for Klay, along with everything else. Relegated to coming off the bench, feeling disrespected by the organization, and perceiving himself as undervalued compared to his teammates, Klay was deeply unsettled. The Warriors' decision to delay re-signing him until the rest of the roster was sorted out was the final straw for number 11. Sometimes in life, a fresh start is what we all need, and the other half of the Splash Brothers was no exception.
Klay Thompson's 13-year career in Golden State, 4 championships, is now over.
This is the end of something magical in basketball.
In a series of heartfelt images shared on social media, Steph Curry opened up about what Klay meant to him. From their early days as new kids on the block, through their rise up the ranks of the NBA, to their apex as champions, Steph held nothing back. He concluded with this: "I'm gonna miss you, Klay Thompson. Even though we won't finish the journey together, what we did will never be done again. Couldn't have imagined a better run with you and Money 23 Green. Change the whole Bay Area, change the way the game is played, kill a Klay at the center of it all. Thank you for everything, bro. Go enjoy playing basketball and doing what you do. Splash Bros for life, my guy." The days of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson sharing the court, the era of the Splash Brothers, may have come to an end, but their achievements and the legacy they've built will resonate in the hearts of basketball fans for eternity.
When I get on the floor and I see number 11 suited up with me, I feel good about our success and our chances to win a game. You make my job easy when I come on the floor. I know hopefully we have a long future together, man.